All right, going live. I think we're live, Josh.
We are live. Excellent. Okay, how was your week? What's going on? You said it started snowing up there?
Yeah, it's our first snow of the season actually today, and it's cold, and I could really I'm longing for palm trees and ocean right now. So I'm jealous
Well,
of you.
yeah, that's sort of what we do here in Florida. Okay, tell me, you've been traveling, you've been coaching a lot, teaching a lot of classes. Tell me what happened this past week. What's going on?
Yeah, last week I was traveling around teaching my course called Scale Paradox, which will become a book, and I was in a class last week and had the opportunity to really work through with some entrepreneurs how to build a business that's more congruent with who they are. And that's what I was doing. So actually, and out of that came a conversation I had today. Usually when I go teach, people get interested in coaching with me. And so today I had a conversation with one of those participants about potentially coaching with me and walking them through their business. And so I think that's the subject of our conversation tonight.
Okay, perfect. So the title of this hangout is Introverts Can Build a Fitness Business Too. And I'm really intrigued about this because I'm not personally an introvert, but I do understand a lot of the psychology. But I think this can apply to any entrepreneur, right? Not specifically the fitness
Sure.
industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Any entrepreneur in any industry, and not just introverts, but extroverts as well. I felt like in this particular conversation, fresh off my phone call earlier today with an introvert. I mean, she's an entrepreneur. She's gone into business for herself, but she's an introvert. And I feel like, look, and I'm not an introvert. I'm an extrovert. But I feel like the whole world of business and being in business for yourself and sales, all of that has been dominated by people who are extroverts sharing how you're supposed to build a business, and it all looks like extroverted activity. And I feel like the introvert has been underrepresented in terms of being entrepreneurs. And then sometimes even it starts to come out from, for example, my conversation today, like, gosh, like I'm doing everything that everybody's telling me to do, but it just doesn't quite feel right. And it's because they're trying to do something that's not how they're wired. They're trying to do extroverted activities as an introvert, and it doesn't feel right. And I wanted to address that.
Gotcha. Okay, so they're doing what everybody is telling them to do, but it just doesn't feel right. It feels like you're walking uphill, swimming up current, and it's a wall that they keep running into. So we got a couple steps, man. What's the first step?
Yeah, there's really two things. The first thing is, well, look, I mean, if you're in business for yourself, ultimately you want to grow your business. I think that's natural human nature. But in order to grow your business, you've got to connect with the right people. In order to connect with the right people, you have to at some point start with yourself and who you are. If you're not building your business congruently with how you're wired, what you believe, who you are, if you don't have a sense of yourself in your business, you're not going to connect with enough people to grow or scale. So step number one before you can get to people is you got to really do some soul searching and get clear about and honor who you are. So that's step number one, is honor who you are. Any follow-up questions to that?
No, I'm just admiring your lower third.
Oh.
Entrepreneur
Nice.
whisper. That's rock solid.
Sorry, you caught that. I just thought today, like I'm like Caesar Milan for entrepreneurs. I'm the entrepreneur
You're
whisperer.
probably wondering how long is it going to take Josh to actually read that. So, okay, so step one, connect
Okay.
with yourself, appreciate and honor yourself
Yeah.
before you can start finding out who you're going to reach out to.
Right. Let me give you an example of that today. So I'm talking to this entrepreneur who is an introvert, and she's been in business for herself since April. So coming up on 8, 9 months, whatever. And everybody around her, extroverts, are telling her they need to do it this way. Hey, you should do it this way. And so she's trying all these things because she's wanting to do what she can do to build her business, but none of it feels right. And so today in our conversation, I said, so look, let me ask you a question. Do you like to write? It's interesting. She likes to write, and I don't know what this is, but I think there's a pretty common thread for a lot of entrepreneurs, for a lot of introverts who like to write. I think what's great about the format of writing is that introverts get to be with their thoughts without any interruption. Nobody's going to steamroll you in their conversation or interrupt you. Their body language isn't going to interrupt you. You get to get your thoughts out without interruption. She liked the idea. She's like, I love to write. So I said, look, here's the thing. what do you write about? And she's like, oh man, I write about my business and I don't like it. And I'm like, stop doing that. Don't write about your business. I said, what do you like to do? And she's like, okay, I like to scuba dive, I like to cook, and I like to travel. I'm like, great, write about those things. Now, none of those things have to do with her business, okay, as an entrepreneur. But I said, look, that's not the point. The point is you, as an introvert, it's hard for people to get to know introverts. Introverts are very closed off into themselves, so it's very hard for people to create a connection with them because they're not just putting themselves out there, right? So for her, it was like, look, you need to write about the things you love because it's going to let people in on who you are as a human being. And then the more that they read about who you are, the more they're going to like you and connect with you. So just because diving, scuba diving, isn't about your business, doesn't matter. Go write about your latest dive and draw out the story, and then at the end, tell a moral of the story. So, hey, I was diving and it was great at first, and then I got to the bottom, and then I realized, like, oh, I panicked because this thing happened, and then I overcame it because of this. And look, I know a lot of you don't scuba dive, but here's what I realized about life, and then you tell a moral of the story about life, right? So there's a lot of ways to start to communicate life lessons through the things you're passionate about, and then create a connection with people. So I guess, Josh, I feel like I'm rambling here, but the point is, you need to find, one, a format that works for you to get your voice out. If that's writing, do that. If it's interviewing other people, do that. If it's having people interview you like you do me, do that. Okay? From there, then, start to figure out what things do you like to write about, and make sure that you make a connection for the moral of the story for everybody that it isn't interested in the actual topic, if it's cooking, scuba diving, or whatever. I think that's the first thing, is establishing a rhythm of you getting your voice out about stuff. If you can do that, that's step number one.
Gotcha. Okay, I like it. And I think, Chris, it's really important for people to understand that being an introvert doesn't necessarily mean that someone is shy. Introvert versus extrovert is actually defined as how somebody is energized, what charges them. Introverts oftentimes get their charge by being alone. And I love your idea about writing, because that allows it, and I'm sure it really gives them a lot of energy and vitality when they're doing that. And a perfect example, not to be steamrolled. So I can only imagine this person you're talking to, this entrepreneur, and anybody that, let's just say, in the fitness industry is trying to build their business and come up with the ideas. People are just plowing over them, and they're just feeling beat down, overwhelmed. The walls are closing in on them. They can't think, and they're being pulled in every direction. Then they just say, the hell with it.
Yeah, that's where all the loudmouths, the extroverts, the loudmouths, jump in and steamroll people and say, oh, listen to me, try this, look at me, blah, look at me because I want to be seen because I'm an extrovert. And then introverts, because they're polite and they don't want to waste their time trying to, combat or compete with an extrovert, they just don't interact with that. But
Gotcha.
it, like you said, it squeezes them. So
yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're finding the format that's true to you, where you can get all your feelings and all your thoughts out. So the right format. Okay. So that's step number one: being true to yourself, appreciating and honoring yourself. And now, give it a voice. And who are you going to share it with?
Yeah, I think so. Once you have a sense of authenticity, and you feel like you're getting your voice out and you're sharing your thoughts and you're doing this in a consistent, congruent way, from there, then I think it's a matter of connection and how do you connect with people. And there's some ways to do that. I think, first of all, go connect with people that have a similar interest. So if you're trying to focus locally, which makes sense for trainers, right, is you could go find scuba diving class if that's your thing, cooking class if that's your thing, travel, find other people who are interested in travel. If you can't find that in I think there's a website called meetup.com that does some of that kind of stuff where people in local areas will post their events and you can go hang out with people that have similar events. If that's not available or that's not comfortable because you're an introvert, which makes sense, then the next piece is to start to push your content through blog posts. I really like Facebook ads. I think that's a really strategic way right now to push. You can find all sorts of demographics locally through Facebook ads, and you can post your writing either on Facebook, or you can write a blog post about it and then put a link to your Facebook page about that. But there's all sorts of ways to get that out there, and what you're looking for is people to begin to interact with your content that way. So, and here's the challenge. The challenge with that, Josh, is that that's the long play. It's not like you're going to post something on Facebook today and all of a sudden you have 10 clients or 20 clients tomorrow. But everybody's addicted to the short play.
Right.
And it's the long play that is scalable.
Yes, yes. And let's talk about that, because we were talking about these interviews actually prior to this, which is the long play. So share just quick about your thoughts on what we're discussing.
Interviews like the interviews I'm doing, or
yeah, with successful fitness professionals. Yeah, so
totally lost. Which ones did we talk about?
Well, we're talking about finding how we're authentic, and then getting that message out, and then trusting the process and trusting the system that the people that it'll connect with and resonate with, they'll find it. And once you find that tribe, then that tribe's going to begin to grow it and spread it. So it's not necessarily for the masses, right? But we have to trust 6 months from now there will be a strong following. The question is are you going to stick with it?
That's the huge piece of I'm so frustrated and sick of the short play, because all of your competition is in that arena. They're all playing for the short play. They're all like, who wants to go training right now? Who wants to get a six-pack in 6 months right now? And so everybody's going to try to compete with that group of people. But look, I think I've said this before, but everybody wants what you have as a trainer. Everybody wants a better version of themselves physically. That's human nature. We look at ourselves and we have all sorts of internal dialogue and judgments physically about ourselves. And as a trainer, you have intellectual property and knowledge that will help us unlock that. So what's cool is we all have desires that you can help create for us as a trainer. So the long play is build relationship with people that have a similar point of passion, is what I would call that, right? Find a point of passion, whether it's travel, scuba diving, cooking, whatever, okay? Find that and go find people with that, talk about that with them, and then at some point as you're talking to them about travel, start to ask them about their life and their workout. Hey, have you ever worked out? And you start to ask these questions. You're like, what's the best workout you've ever done? Like, what's the biggest challenge you have to working out? And you start to ask these questions, and people start to open up because of the connection from this common passion we have. You feel safe to me because we both have a passion about travel. Isn't that the weird thing? Like, I may not even know you, but because we share this passion for travel, or these two girls in this class that both scuba dive, there's instant connection and we trust each other. Mm-hmm. That is what a tribe is. From people from the same tribe trust each other very quickly. And so that's what we're doing.
Start with passion, start with connection, start with the rapport, trust, friendship, and then as you have that, then you go deeper, and that's when you'll lead into whatever business that may be for you.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense, but it's funny because we've spoken about this before, is why do people not do this? Because it takes work. It takes intentionality. It takes time.
Yeah, it's consistency. Well, that's what you're talking about. Like, it's the consistency of, we just look like you and I just keep showing up every week. You and I are going to have these conversations every week, and it's sometimes I feel bad, like look, I feel like you guys watching this, I should have a much bigger tribe by now, because I feel like, and this is maybe arrogant to say, but I feel like I have good things to say about that can help you about growing your business. And I would say that the tribe is pretty small right now. I have 9 subscribers. Congratulations, me. But look, it's not about.
I'm one of them.
Hey, I don't think I can be one of my own subscribers. But the point is, I will continue to have this conversation. I will continue to try to find the topic. Josh, let's look at this from me for a second. My point of passion is I love business. I love it. I can't get away from it. I don't know what that is, but for 14 years I've loved business. I love reading about it. I love business planning. I just love it. And so for me to be, and I have an angle on it. I have perspective that is unique in any industry, because I'm a contrarian. I see how everybody seems to move, and I zig when everybody zags, and so I have a perspective that I think makes a difference. At least my clients would say so, right? So I've decided to come out of hiding, and I'm like sharing that with the world, and I'm showing up every week to have this conversation with you, because I feel like at some point there's a critical mass and a tipping point that'll happen with this, where people start to jump into the conversation and say thank you. People have already said that, but there'll be a critical mass where the tipping point it tips, and off we go.
Yes, yes, I love it. And you're proving your system. So right now you're testing your theory, right?
Yeah, like it'll be interesting in hindsight, right? Like, 6
Yeah.
months, 12 months down the road from this video, we go back and look at it when I said I had 9 subscribers, now I have 10,000 subscribers.
Yes.
But yes, I'm in the middle of building this, and so I'm saying to everybody watching this, if you're an introvert, you can build a business, but do not get addicted to, do not get drunk on the short play, which is where everybody plays, including extroverts who are trying to steamroll everybody. Everybody's addicted to the short play. Oh, I got to get business tomorrow, and that's not my problem. My problem is not your financial burden. My interest is in your financial outcome, your long-term vision of where you end up in life, not what your struggle is right now. Go get a second job right now. If you can't handle it, go get a second job. That's okay. It's okay. But I'm here to tell you, like, there is a way to scale your business, and it is not being attached to the short term. It's building a strategy for the long term. That's what we're talking about.
Mhm. Gosh, man, that is good stuff. Hey, this reaches far beyond the fitness profession. This
It
is
does.
good stuff. Okay, man. Final thoughts. I'm curious to see what the people on the other end think. Comments, questions.
I kind of wondered if, I was pigeonholing myself with, talking to introverts, but I really believe like there are a lot of introverts in the world that need a voice or need somebody to stand up and say, hey, you could be an introvert and build a successful business. Stop listening to all the extroverts of the world saying you have to do it their way. You could do it your way. And I think there's a place for that. In fact, hey, listen, here's my parting thought. There is a book, and candidly, I haven't read it. but I've heard great reviews of it, and I love the title and the subtitle, and I love the message of it, and it's called Quiet. The book is called Quiet. And it's basically a book about introverts who are leaders. You can be a leader and be an introvert and have influence, right? So read that, and then tell me what it says, and tell me if it was a good read.
Yes,
Maybe
perfect.
I'll even read it before then. Now
Awesome.
that I feel
I'll
bad.
put it on Audible. I listen to books on Audible twice as fast. I can knock them out fast.
Nice.
Okay, perfect. And everybody out there, what do you want to pick Chris's brain about? What questions, thoughts, concerns, challenges, what successes, victories? Comment below so we can bring relevant content to what you want.
Awesome. Thanks, Josh. Thanks
Okay.
again for hanging out with me. I love having these talks with you. I know that we just stay consistent, and over time we get to help more people. So,
Yes, you got it. All right, brother. Stay warm.
okay, man. You stay warm.
All right.
All
Bye.
right. Bye.